and welcome to 954 Miles of Conversation podcast, where our motto is exploring boundless conversation 1 mile at a time. I am your founder, owner, host, William T. Vaughn. My co host, Christy McDonald, she's from Omaha, Nebraska. She will not be on the show tonight because she's handling business out of state. So I want to wish her traveling grace and conducting business. Uh, Tonight's show is episode 10. So this is the episode 10 of 954 Miles of Conversation. And this is the first one that I've hosted by myself. So this is a plus for me. Okay, we'll see how this one go. But I'm going to read you the write up of this show. This is 954 Miles of Conversation podcast. This is episode 10. Relationship, the good, the bad, and the ugly. No relationship is perfect. We all experience good, bad, and ugly situations with our partners. How we deal with those situations and determine the success of our relationships and our personal growth. To the viewers and the listeners, reflect on your own relationship and consider how you consider and navigate the ups and downs to build positive, fulfilling connections in the future. Okay. And I have two wonderful guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and I will start to my middle. And you can introduce yourself and tell the viewers who you are and what you do and what you want them to know.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me on the show. My name is Latasha Richard, and I am a motivational speaker. I just started speaking to individuals in regards to just speaking to them about mental health awareness and as well as different things about with the young adults on teaching them how to speak up for themselves.
Great, great, great. Okay. Thank you for taking the time out to be on 954 Miles of Conversation. The next guest, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, thank you for having me on the show. My name is Jacqueline Hathaway, and I am from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Nice to have you, Jacqueline, on the show. Um, Before we start um, with the questions, we actually talked on yesterday, and we had a wonderful conversation to where I wish we would have recorded that. Okay.
Oh, no.
it was it was enlightening to know the history of some relationships that you all have been in, and I don't want to make sure that this is not just a one-sided point of view. So we actually pointed out your own faults in the relationship. So I'm gonna make that public. We talked about mine as well, and you all talked about y'all's as well, and y'all went back and forth. And y'all know we talked on there about 2 hours. Did y'all
Yes,
realize that? To
yes.
Yes.
where I wind up changing the title to this show and calling it the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm crediting that to you two. Okay, so you all, I got to credit that to you. You all changed the name of this show. Okay, so I'm giving you that. So I'm gonna start with you, Jackie.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with you with this first question. What is the best experience you had in a relationship, and what made it so special?
The best experience I've had in a relationship and what made it so special would be mm, just knowing that somebody is there,
Knowing that somebody's there.
knowing that somebody is there when you need them and they're not just taking.
So when you say that, are you saying that um, there's a sense of someone that takes from you all the time, or is it the fact is that they ain't bringing nothing to the relationship? I'm trying to clarify on that.
Well, my experience
Yeah.
in past relationships, it has been a take, 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 take. And sometimes you will get emotionally bankrupt,
Mm.
will um, you give so much that it's not reciprocated.
Is that a issue for you? I mean,
Yeah, because yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Uh, Richie, you got something you want to say?
No, no, I'm listening. I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, no. I mean, you're welcome to piggyback off that conversation. I mean, and off that question. So the question relies to you. What is your best experience in a relationship, and what made it so special?
Hmm. I think the best experience that I've had in a relationship is um, being with somebody who actually knew their worth as well as my worth, and we were able to communicate within the relationship about things, the good things, the bad things. Um, it's been a long time ago, so
How long has it been?
let's see. My daughter is 22, so probably about 22 years.
22 years for that? Wait a minute.
Yes, yes, it has been a long time because, and I can only speak from my experience.
Okay.
Um, the men that I've come in contact with, they don't. I'm gonna say this: they don't make them like they used to. At least the ones that
Mm,
I have chosen. I can't
mm,
say all, and I'm not saying that all men are like that.
Okay.
I'm blaming myself because these are the men that I chose.
Okay.
So
mm.
therefore, that's why I said that.
Okay. Okay. So when you say the men that you choosing out there, is it why you think you're attracted to those certain type of men?
I think it might be because I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy a challenge in relationships.
Mm.
It's weird, but I enjoy a challenge in everything. However, in that challenge, I don't expect for it to be negative, which some relationships end up being negative.
So you look forward to a challenge in a relationship?
Not saying that I look forward to it. What I'm saying is I'll take on the challenge. And what I mean about challenge, I don't mean by this person coming into my life to give me a hard time. I'm talking about, okay, this person looks at me like this. So I might look at him a certain way, which we all have our way of looking at people, right?
Okay.
So um I might look at him and say, okay, he's hard to break his shell. Or I'm trying to get to know this person, but he's kind of letting on to who he is, but he ain't. So in me, I'm that person that I'm gonna break this wall down, and we gonna get to know each other, and we gonna be on the same page. That's what I mean, not
Okay.
in a negative way.
Okay. 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 Uh, Jackie, you got this look like you got something to say on that. Okay.
Well, I think what it is that we have been taught to be caretakers,
That's it.
and that sometimes is a negative for us. Um, if something needs to be done, oh, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I don't know if it's because that's just something that we were taught to be caretakers,
Okay.
because growing up our grandmother was, that's what we saw. She was always taking care of somebody else, the
Okay.
kids that weren't hers and stuff like that. So coming in a relationship, we're caretakers and not always giving, letting people know about us, but we'll take care of their issue.
So I'm listening to what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when you get these relationships, when you're in this relationship, you find that you have a mate to where you got to take care of their needs first before they take care of your needs, and you cater to what their needs are because you have been raised to be caretakers. Is that what you're telling me?
Basically.
Okay. So you're attracting men who really, um, and I'm gonna say this, that I call them the still that country term, mama's boy.
Can't say that.
You can't say that.
Can't say that because not everybody is needs a caretaker,
Okay.
but because that's our nature,
Okay.
that's what we do.
Okay.
And it's a natural thing for us. Oh,
So it's
let me do
natural.
this, let me do that, let me do this, but not necessarily that some of them even need that. It's just that what we do.
That's just what you do. Okay. All right. I give you that. Rich, you got anything you want to piggyback off of that? Because you got that look on your face. Come on.
No, I'm good.
And you,
I'm good. I'm good.
okay. Okay. All right. You know, I had to ask. I'm like, okay. Can you share a time of a value or support by your partner? Because you just said you all are always taking care of your friend, your significant other. Is there a time that you have they provided support and value to you? Is there a time for that? Have you felt that in your relationship?
I can say that in a past relationship I did. Um, and this happened right before I was getting ready to deploy. Of course, this person that I was dating at the time, they had been to a deployment before. So, of course, I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I had all types of emotions. And then we were probably a year to 2 years into our relationship. And so, of course, he made me feel like, I was going to be okay. He talked me through the entire situation. He said, "No worries. You're gonna do good. You're gonna do well." And that made me feel good because basically he was taking away the fear that I had for being deployed for my first time. He had already been, so just I think just the emotional support was good enough for me at that time.
Okay. So being deployed, the emotional support, I can understand that. I can understand that. What about you, Jackie?
For me, it
Yeah.
was just knowing that I had someone there going when you have a sick parent and you're taking care of a sick parent because you're only child,
Ooh.
and knowing that somebody's got your back
Yeah.
here. So whatever it is that you need, I got you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
having someone to say that to me was
Yeah.
extra special.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
saying
Oh
that
yeah.
I got you.
Okay. Remember, we talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now we
Right,
ain't.
right.
So I mean, it's three levels up in here. So,
Yes,
I,
yes, yes.
yeah, and I know Jackie, are you dating someone now?
I am.
Okay. How's that relationship?
Uh
You would expected that question, would you?
no.
How
Well,
is that? How's it?
um, I think that we have our good days, we have our bad days.
Okay.
Um, Communication is sometimes very strained
Okay.
because I think just the raising, how how we were raised is different.
Okay.
Um, the fear of repeating things in past relationships.
Mm.
I think that was a major one for me.
Okay.
Um, just learning and knowing how to communicate because you sit down and you're waiting on them to say something. They might be waiting on you to say something, and nobody is saying anything.
Mm. Wow.
That
Okay.
that's hard.
Okay.
Just understanding uh, where each other's coming from. And I think a lot of times in conversation, defense mechanisms go up.
Okay.
Um, Instead of just listening and acknowledging, people understand different. So you might say something to somebody and it takes them a day or so to process. And then you want to come back to it, but you don't want it to be an argument. So
Ooh.
that's a process.
Okay.
Or you're saying something and you don't want the defense mechanism to come up, and just listening to understand and not
Mm.
to reply is a big thing.
That's that part.
Learning to listen to understand and not listen to reply. Just understand my point of view
Mhm.
and not replying or not saying I shouldn't have any feelings, or I don't understand why you feel that way, or this, that, and the other.
Yeah. I.
So it's
Oh.
it's it's been a challenge because my natural thing is I'll shut it down. Most men shut it down, but I shut it down. I walk around and won't say nothing.
Ooh. You stepping on my toes now.
But most men shut down, and and I have learned to just shut it down,
Mm.
because in any situation you want to feel like your feelings are safe with the other person.
Mm.
Mhm.
And anytime you say, people say different stuff in the heat of the moment, but what I say on a constant basis, when you put those words out there, you can't tell me how to take them because you put them out there.
Ooh.
So once they're out there, they're out there. So don't tell me how to take them. You can say, I didn't mean for you to take them that way, but you can't tell me how to take them because you put them out there.
That's
Ooh.
right.
So I try not to even throw those words out. So if something is said, I might take it and then go to my neutral corner and won't say nothing.
Okay.
And then it builds because I was always told that don't everything that comes up don't come out, and take it to a corner and think about what was said, and does it really matter at the end of the day if that person died 2 seconds after it was
Mm.
said? Would it really matter? So you have to learn what you want to fight for, what you don't want to fight for, and what really matters.
Wow. Wow. I now I appreciate what you just said, because you actually stepped on my toes. I don't mind. I'm gonna say ouch. And one thing about 954 miles of conversation, and I always been transparent. I don't mind talking about my own relationships, my marriages, my girlfriend's relationships, and I'm in a relationship right now. And I think what you talked about, having that conversation where you shut down and you don't say nothing. I've done that in this relationship already, to where we have had to come back, and she has had to come back and say to me, give me that time to process
Process it. Mhm.
everything, and I don't want to say the wrong things to come out of my mouth, because once it come out, you cannot take it back.
That's right.
And
You're right.
so I have been very careful with that, because I always say, if you use the wrong words, you're not sorry for what you just said. You meant that.
You meant what you said. That's
You
Yeah.
meant what you
You
said.
meant what
And
you said
so,
the first time. That's what
right.
I was always taught that.
Yeah. And
What you
so,
say, you meant what you said. And you might be sorry for
yeah.
how the person took it,
Yeah.
but if you said it, You meant what you
And
said.
Yeah, but
So
yeah,
be careful what you say,
I agree.
because once you throw it out there, it's out there, and it
It's
always will return
yeah.
back to you.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. And
So
and she's actually listening right now, so she can verify this. But we have able to talk things out. Um, I've been a better listener from it to where I've been able to comprehend it a lot better. And maybe she's understanding me a lot better. It's a learning process, but
yeah,
the friendship that she and I have right now, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I just wouldn't.
that's
And
good.
so when I say things to her, I'm like, do I want to say things that gonna hurt my friend? So I don't want to
Right.
say something that's gonna hurt my friend because this is someone I care about, and this is somebody that I want next to me on a regular basis. So I'm not gonna say something that's gonna hurt my friend. So that's why I'm very careful, and I try to choose the right words that I say to her, and she does the same thing to me. Now we joke a lot, but that's just who we are. So the chemistry that we have. So we have.
but when you come to that, do you come to a solution in a discussion when things are said? Is there a solution that is come? Do you come to a solution? Do you understand? Is there change involved?
Oh yeah, we. I mean, I concur that we do come to a solution. There's a change, and there's something that we both get out of it, that we both benefit from it. So it has been helpful for me. So in this relationship, so I'm thankful of that. So, Rich, I ain't finna leave you out of conversation because me and Jackie flowing here. So uh, you can jump in at any time.
I'm agreeing with you and what you all discussing. I think it goes back to that listening to understand and not listening to respond. At
Okay.
the end of the day, you have to. I had to learn that because I was that person that if it was something I wanted to know, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask questions. But sometime when it got too heated,
Mm.
I was in that place where I would shut down and I would walk away. I'll walk
Ooh.
away. When I mean walk away, I would that conversation that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna shut that conversation down because it's gonna get too heated and somebody gonna say something that they can't take back.
Mm.
And I was in the position after I divorced the first time to where I was what they call the runaway bride, but I would run. Oh, we in a relationship? Oh no, you just said something I don't like. I shut it down.
2 years.
Delete,
Thank you. 2 years in my house.
delete, block. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Find somebody else.
So you didn't care. You gonna delete the block. You out of there.
I mean, yeah,
Wow.
but learning, uh, if you want, you have to work for what you want,
Mm.
and both people have to work. If both people aren't willing to work, then it ain't gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
But you, both people have to be willing to work. If you're not willing to work or work at it, then don't do
Mm.
it. I
Don't
mean,
do it.
why? Why continue to hold on if you ain't gonna be willing to do the work?
Okay. Let me ask you something, and either one of you can respond to this. What is the most important part of the relationship that you feel that it's an issue with your partners in the past or even the present now? What is that issue that you think that arises sometime that you like? Why did he do this? Why did she do that? What is that issue? Come on, I want to know.
I think
Anybody?
I can speak for myself. I think my issue is I'm one of those that I let a lot of stuff slide.
Yeah.
And in doing that, people take advantage of that.
Mm.
And they take it as a weakness or being naive or whatever it may be. But I'm far from being naive and weak. However, people will take that as that, and they will repeat things that, oh, well, I got away with it the first time and she kind of overlooked it. So let me try this again. And so, as Jackie said, we're taught to, how we were raised is like
The
make things work, make it
the
work.
letting stuff slide
Yeah.
is a
And
big
so,
thing.
yeah. And so you do that for so long and it starts to take a toll on you.
Mm.
And I'm
Wow.
speaking from experience. It starts to take a toll on you because if you bring this issue up to your partner and that partner is not listening and understanding what I am telling him, how this is making me feel, and they continue to do it, then there's going to be a problem. I'm that person that I'll let it go on for so long and then I'll walk away. I might walk away and not say a word to you when I walk away because I've already told you so many times is this is what I need, or this is what's going on, or this is how this is making me feel, or this person is calling you at this time of night and it's making me feel some type of way. If you're not taking my emotion into accountability, then that tells me that you really probably don't even care about me like
that,
you say
that
you
you
do.
don't you're not the person that you said you were. If I have to, if we've had a discussion, like she said, if we've had a discussion about phone calls at certain times of the night, if we've had a discussion and it's like, okay, why some why are you giving them money?
What?
If we have a discussion about, if I tell you uh, I need a hug, you can't hug me every day. I mean, yeah, it matters.
Okay.
It
Okay.
matters. It matters.
Okay.
It matters.
I'm ready to shift gears now. Okay. I like this. I'm ready to shift gears. We done talked about the good. We done talked about the bad. I'm finna talk about the ugly. When it becomes ugly,
Hmm.
when it becomes ugly, how ugly has it gotten in a relationship for you? And I mean, I can talk about what we talked about yesterday, but I'm not. But I leave it up to you all because you all didn't like me on some stuff yesterday. I was shocked. It was funny, but it was interesting to hear. So I'm gonna let whoever want to tackle that. Give me the ugly in a past relationship and what you did and how you dealt with it. Give me that ugly.
I can say for me, I have been in a relationship where it has gotten physical.
Ooh.
Um, and I'll go back to my college days. I dated a guy who dated everybody,
Mm.
but I dated a guy back in college, and there was an incident where he basically he got upset with me because we had a heated discussion. It was an argument. I was supposed to be going out of town for a track meet. However, we returned from our track meet, and of course, there were other females that were, I found out that who's fooling with. And so I told him, I said, this is a situation for me, and I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't want to play these games anymore. And so he was like, um, well, the conversation got really heated, and I guess I said something that hurt his ego, and so he pretty much tried to choke me out.
Oh wow.
So, um, of course, I got kicked out of my apartment. I got kicked out of my apartment because if it hadn't been for the security officer who came to our door that night and said security, I probably wouldn't have been here today.
Wow. Let me ask you something. Give me a time frame of that. If we talking about early '90s here or what '80s,
It was in the 90s.
'90s.
It was about 96, 97.
Okay. Now y'all know I'm a retired police officer. I'm a retired detective. So I'm thinking about domestic because at that particular time, that's when the domestic laws got to really kicking in
Mm-hmm.
back then. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people didn't realize that those laws was changing rapidly through those years in the early 90s to where you would, at one time we just had to we would respond to a domestic and we would try to make sure both parties would leave, write the
Yeah.
report, and we would go. And to the point to where some cases came up throughout the United States where police officers responded and the guy came back and actually committed a homicide with the victim,
Yeah.
and police officers got sued, departments got sued. They started changing the laws. So at that particular time, did you ever think about calling the police to report him to deal with that back
I
then?
I didn't because I had so many people that were in my corner at that time because I was an athlete.
Okay,
Of course, they contacted my coach,
okay,
and this guy played basketball at the time.
okay,
So the coach, they brought us both in and told us that we are not to be together. So basically, um, they removed both of us from the situation, told us, and I think after that he got kicked off the basketball team and ended up going to a whole nother city.
really?
Well, yeah, he went to play ball somewhere else.
Mhm.
So
I
he
think
was actually on a scholarship.
Mhm.
Wow,
I'm not sure if he was on a scholarship or not.
wow. Okay,
But I know I was, and I know what I was told that if I didn't get myself together, that I would lose my scholarship. So that wasn't an option for me. So,
okay.
um, but no, I did not think about police officers because at the school we had officers there as
Right,
well.
right,
So
right.
um, so they did know, and plus the person that was at the apartment complex, I knew him well, and he was a police officer at the time.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
so he knew, and basically was like, I hate to tell you this, but and I said I understood. I was waiting on it to come because we were loud. We were
Okay.
loud that night.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Jackie, what's the ugly?
Mine is more recent than that.
Mm,
Last relationship.
okay. Okay.
um, he was just very controlling. Um, I should have done a background check on him because we were very adamant when I got divorced. Everybody I saw, we did a background check, and we
Hey,
did a background check. I could tell you if they had judgments against them. I have great super snoops in my life.
Mm.
I say that now. If you are doing wrong,
Ooh.
you need not to, and you're using social media or the computer in any way, shape, form, or fashion, because my super snoops will definitely find out, and they will definitely let me know. So, did not do a background check. I thought it was all well and fine,
Okay.
and things just started occurring. And nobody in my family liked him.
Mm.
My
Okay.
son, who was grown at the time, would even send his friends, because he was in the Navy, send
Okay.
his friends to the house
Wow.
to come and see about me.
Okay.
So, me just, no, he can't be that way. You know, love makes you blind.
Okay.
yes,
And
Lord.
yet I was blind. And
So,
even one of my super snoops sent all the information to me, and I asked about it, and just trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. You know, you I was in it to win it. I thought I was anyway,
Right.
and it just didn't work out. He proceeded to talking to someone else, and in the people think stuff gets erased.
Mm.
When they delete it, they think it's erased.
Wow.
That is a very misconception. You can delete text and think it is erased, It is not erased. So be careful what you do on your text messages. Be careful what you do on social media of any kind, because all they need is your phone number. And I can tell you what was text, what was said, what wasn't said. I don't even have to have your telephone. That's how good my super snoops are.
Well, okay, Jackie.
So him, him and another person decided that they was gonna be in my bed when I was gone.
Okay.
So I got pictures. Then they commenced to saying that I have the pictures to this day.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. They got in your bed?
In my bed.
Ooh, that's
I have
that's some real ugly shit.
yes, I have pictures. And then instead of ending it, because you were still a taker, instead of you ending it, you decided, well, if she doesn't leave, we'll just kill her, which was said in messages.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so you're gonna kill me
Oh
if I
my.
don't leave. So of course I have, again, great super snoops, great parents, and I was moved out of my place in 3 days.
Uh. Whew.
Drink off of it.
Jackie, hold on a minute.
Let me drink my orange juice.
That's a book. That's a movie. That
It's
sounds like a Tubi movie.
it's a
I mean,
it's wild.
that really sounds like a Tubi movie, y'all. Come on. If you ever
And
watch Tubi,
and I
those kind of
think
things
that
take place on Tubi.
I
Oh yeah.
think the reason of a background check wasn't done
Wow.
was because you would think a police officer introduced us. So I didn't even think to
So
even do any research behind that, because I was introduced to the person by a police officer.
Oh,
So I would think police officers don't hang out with crooked folks until I learn better.
so listen, that's a conversation we discussed the other night. Remember when we talked about the mask?
Yep.
oh, okay.
So I knew him. He was good at having that mask on. He was good at having that mask on. You would think he was the sweetest person in the world. But of course, she and I talk all the time. So
Ooh, Lord Jesus. Y'all, y'all, you know what? I thought I had a story. I don't think I can top that one. I don't think I can top Jackie's. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. I am going to reveal a story of a relationship from me that was is going to be in a book, but I'm gonna talk about it in this episode because I believe that you have to be transparent
yes.
as a host because I'm not perfect. So, and even as a police officer, I have had some bad relationships. And so I was in a relationship one time where the young lady I was breaking up with her, and she happened to steal my vehicle while I was out of town. And so I was actually in Hampton, Arkansas at the time. I get a phone call from my neighbor that says, "Hey, you need to get back home because this lady is moving stuff out your house and taking your car." So my neighbor calls me to give me the heads up. And I was getting ready to go to church with my mama at the time. And so I says, my mama, I said, "Look, I got to go back and this is what's going on." And my mama looked at me and said, "Boy, go up there and get your shit together. Go get your shit together, okay? And don't come back down here until you get your shit together." That's just how she was. And so I get back up to Little Rock, and I get some more of my colleagues. We go out searching for my vehicle, and not really telling everybody that my car is stolen. We do this. This is in the early 90s where you could do that. So we do that. We're hunting for my vehicle. I was a school resource officer at the time. I had a marked police unit. And they're going to kill me for saying that. I'm not going to say any names. But I actually couldn't find the vehicle. We stopped looking for it that night. I get up that morning. I go to my school. I was assigned to J. Fair High School. And so I'm at the school. So my supervisor comes to the school and says, hey, come go with me. We go to my house. We make a police report of my vehicle being stolen. And this is going to be embarrassing because it's going to make the news. Okay? This is no lie. It's going to make the news. And so he says, be prepared for it. You know, we getting prepared for it. And so he says, what do you think this vehicle may be? I said, man, I don't know. They got to hide it somewhere in somebody's house. They're not driving it. The places that I think we done searched it where you could hide it. I'm thinking they might burn it up, take it in the woods, that kind of thing. And so I happened to get a call from a lady who was really nice, and there was a associate of hers that felt sorry for me and says, look, I don't want them to do this to you, but they getting ready to burn your car. But they getting ready to do it, but they're going to take the car at a different location. But it's sitting outside the subject's mother's house. So I says to him, hey, the car is at the mother's house. So we go over there, and it's not too far from where I'm living at in Southwest Little Rock. So we drive over there. Now, we're in a marked unit. And I'm going to illustrate this. So we're in a marked unit. And so we pulls down the street. I said, shit, there go my car. And he says, hold on. He backs the police car up. Nobody's outside. He backs the police car, runs my tag, okay? At the time, at the Little Rock Police Department, we go by Vaughn, our last name, but nobody really knew my first name. My first name is William. So he says, the tags come back to William Vaughn. Who is that? I said, well, hell, that's me, motherfucker. That's me. So he says, hold on a minute. He says, this is what we're going to do. He said, we're going to drive up. He said, you get out the car, you jump in the car, don't shoot nobody, get the car, and you leave. I said, okay. So he said, you ready? I said, yeah, I'm ready. He said, well, get your hand on the door like you're ready. So I got my hand on the door like I'm ready, and he drives up. As soon as we turn the curve, it seemed like the whole neighborhood come out. And so he done hit that car, the police car, sideways, and sliding it, okay? So it's just like you see the TV, it's sliding. And I'm jumping out as the car is moving and running to my car. Get in the car, starts it up, drive, take it back to my house, take it to the garage, change the code on the garage, lock it up, do all this good stuff. We sitting in the house. He says, well, you hungry? I said, yeah. We go to Burger King on Guard Springs. We go through the drive-thru. It dawns on me. I says to my supervisor, I'm not going to call his name. I says, why did I feel like I just stole my own car?
Because you did.
And he says, and I said, I stole my own car, and you accessory to that stealing. I said, we both going to jail for stealing my own car back. And we just fell out laughing in the drive-thru, couldn't make an order. And so we're driving. We didn't make the order. We just laughing. And so the lady says, y'all didn't make an order. So she just says, here, give us a couple of burgers. And we just drove on off. Okay? So I say that because even though you may be in law enforcement, you may be dealing with certain things, relationships going to happen. The ugly going to happen. Things will happen in your relationship that you're not expecting going to happen. I did not expecting that as a police officer, I'll be stealing my own car back. Okay, I would expecting that. That actually happened to me. That's a true story. That's not a makeup story. And those who listen to this story, my viewers and listeners that know me, they know they're probably gonna fall out laughing that I told this story on this episode. That it's a true story that that actually happened. I had to steal my own car back. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So with that being said, that's what ugliness always happen in a relationship. And I did learn something from that because you don't know what a person is feeling, what they're thinking when they're hurt, and when they cannot get their way of what they want in that relationship. When you find out who they really are, and when you find out who they really are, and you know it's not worth you saying I do to or continue to hold on to a relationship that you know it's not going to work, you got to move on from it. You got to move on from it.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Come on.
but you say move on, and so what happens if you tell this person that you don't want to make it work, you don't want to work on it anymore, and they're not hearing you? They're not hearing you, and I don't know. I don't know what to do in a situation like that, because even if you have somebody that comes in and sit down with you so that they can hear you tell this person this, and they still not getting it, that becomes an issue.
Well, I mean, I don't have the answer for that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not an expert in that, but I'm gonna tell you this. What worked for me is that when you cut ties, you got to cut ties.
Right.
Phone conversations,
Right.
emails,
Right.
no kind of message, no kind of contact. You have to completely cut those ties. And I think sometimes in relationship, people always says, "Well, let me go back and say hello."
That's my friend.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them, and so you get those mixed feelings, and they think they can come back from that.
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes we can put those wrong messages and send them out there.
Right.
I just ain't been that one to ever do that. If I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm walking away. That's just me. Now, for as you can walk away from it. You can walk away from it. And once you walk away from it, that's it. But when it comes to the point to where you know it's gonna be disturbing your peace and your happiness, then you got to go a little step further up.
Yeah.
You got to do a little. You might have to do some legal stuff. And I know you hate to do that, but sometimes because you don't want everybody in your business.
That's right.
But sometimes you got to do that, okay?
Right.
To move on and move forward and past it.
Right.
And then after that, they get the message and they're like, okay, later on they're like, I was an asshole. I apologize, and they just got to have some time to let that healing process go. So with that being said, that's the only thing I could tell you with that aspects. Before we close this show, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I want to say thank y'all for taking the time out to come on this show, to do this show, because this was enlightening for me. Okay, this is therapy for me too. I get a chance to tell some of my stuff too.
Right.
So it was fun, but I learned a lot from you all. And I know that there's a lot of viewers out there going to be looking at this show and it says, okay, he just got, females on there. Where's the males? This is not a one-sided deal.
Right.
I challenge any male that wants to come on and tell his side of a relationship. I have no problem with that. I open that show up to that for you to express that, because I would love to hear your point of view. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think that you all did a wonderful job illustrating your experiences and not saying it's just the man's fault. You all pointed out the things that you all done in the relationship. So I'm very appreciative of that you took accountability and responsibility of your own actions. So I commend you all for that. because that don't happen too often.
It don't.
So you have to remember when
Yeah,
you're pointing that one finger, you
yeah,
got four pointing back at yourself.
that's true. That's
So
true.
no matter what, if it's still, if you're still in a relationship, if you've ended a relationship, no matter, you have to sit down and really look and think, is there something I could have done different?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And when you really sit down and analyze the situation, for every action, there is a reaction.
True.
Whether it is, and you always trigger something, it might have been from the past, but you could have triggered it. And once you trigger it, you have to understand that it
Mm,
might not be you,
yeah.
but
Something
you've
from
triggered it. So now sit down and listen to why you triggered it.
it.
See,
Right.
Right.
everybody come in a relationship with baggage.
Yep.
There is
Everybody.
nobody out here
Mm,
that is not in a relationship with no baggage.
And
You're gonna come with,
insecurities.
you're coming with baggage. You're coming with insecurities,
Right.
all of that.
Right.
But see, you have to decide: are you gonna
You want to be
is are you gonna help that person unpack some of that baggage?
mm, okay.
So if you don't want to help unpack any of the baggage, then keep
it's
the
a waste of
suitcase
time.
closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
waste the time
All
Right.
because
right.
everybody has baggage.
Wow.
So if you're not gonna be real about your baggage, then zip the suitcase closed and
Take
let it
that
go.
mask off.
Take the mask off.
Take the
Right.
mask off.
Okay.
Be
So,
your genuine self.
wow. I like packing the baggage. I like taking the mask off. And with that being said, I'm gonna let that be the last words for this show. Again, I want to thank you all for being wonderful guests because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna invite both of y'all back again in the future. Y'all really brought a lot of perspective. 954 miles of conversation, where we explore boundless conversation 1 mile at a time. Thank you all for coming, and to my viewers and listeners, good night and enjoy until next time.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
Have a good night, y'all.
right.
Good night.